Hi, I'm Bob Ange, a senior editor with CE Pro Magazine, and today I am with Jason Zidle, the product line manager for DALI and for Lenbrook. How are you doing today, Jason?
I am doing great. Any day talking to you, Robert, is a good day.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we're going to have a fun little discussion today. We're going to talk about DALI, and more specifically, we're going to talk about the company's outdoor products.
Cool.
All right, so let's get right into this. DALI has several outdoor speaker products, and looking at specifically at the Phantom E80, it stands out as a pretty unique product. Why did the company develop this product?
I agree. It is quite unique. The DALI Phantom portfolio, which is their CI products, it covers a very, very wide scope from affordable 5-inch to the big beast S280 standard to which all others are compared. But we really didn't do anything for the outdoors. And the entire outdoor audio and video market has really evolved quite dramatically over the past few years. I mean, it had always existed, but I think COVID really brought it to the forefront as everybody was cocooning. And they really started to demand new ways to enjoy it. And beyond the end user, when you look at the installer, um, installer want a brand that covers all their needs so they can get everything from one supplier. You don't want to leave anything to chance. And if they can't find something that fills their requirements, you might lose an entire quote. So it was time for them to expand their portfolio. It was really, really quite extensive, but this truly makes it.
Okay, what are some of the ways, some of the applications in which dealers can install this product in the field?
Hmm. I love that question because it really is very a different product. The E80 that you're referring to and the E60 is an all-weather in-ceiling speaker. And that's pretty unique because the traditional outdoor market had always been on walls or bollards, installed in the garden. That at the moment captures quite a large portion of the margin of the market. Um, but people are creating specific living areas outdoors. It's not just this ambient stuff by the pool. People are creating kitchens and lounge areas and full blown surround systems. And we all want to enjoy the outdoors, but let's face it, you're also trying to hide from the sun in some way. These speakers are really made for bringing the indoors, outdoors to appeal to these places where you have a type of gazebo, somewhere where you can enjoy all the fun audio and video that you typically get indoors, but bringing it outside. And the media is the focus. It's all done in admiration music.
Okay, this is going to be a two-part question from me, so
Two
hopefully
parts.
I don't lose you on this.
Okay.
Can you outline some of the features that are offered with the speaker and how these features support not only the product's performance but its long-term durability?
Okay. Very good question. Um, the thing about DALI technology in general is that it not only enhances the audio performance, but provides greater system reliability, facilitates the job of the installer. And that's really what improves the experience for the homeowner. So, while I can talk about all sorts of cool things that, just make it sound better, I think the real key to a successful product is hitting on all of this. It's just as important to satisfy the installer as it is the end user if you want to make a successful CI product. Um, First one right off the top is DALI's mantra, which we call low loss, um, which really means capturing the entire signal now and delivering it. Now everyone will just say, "Oh, okay, so you get good bass and good highs," and of course that's part of it. You want it to sound natural, but a real key is that it sounds equally dynamic at high volumes and low volumes. A lot of CI is not necessarily always the full blown home theater setup. It's ambient music. And just because the volume goes down a bit doesn't mean that you want to lose the great highs and the great lows. Um, and that's probably the hardest trick to pull off. So incredibly um, accurate at high volumes, low levels, so you always get that intelligibility. And that is really something that just spans all of their technology from every component that they choose, uh, from the driver and every little bit of electronics. Again, if I talk about things that are important to both, and something that isn't so glitzy, but amplifier compliance, just rock solid impedance. So you know from the installer standpoint that it's going to work with pretty much any amplifier that you connect up to it. And more importantly, again, for the installer, you're not rolling a truck back for an expensive service. And for the end user, they know this thing is just absolutely bulletproof. And again, a feature that really applies to installer and end user is wide dispersion. And everybody likes to say they have wide dispersion, but I'm going to call them out on it. There are ways to get it, and there are ways to screw it up. And to be fair, the typical CI speaker, in ceiling speaker, just has that tweeter floating in front of the driver. And this is just going to cause a certain amount of interaction. And that's just not the way to do it. When you take a look at a speaker like the E80, you have the tweeter just floating off the edge of the baffle. So it's not directly in front of the woofer. So there's less interaction. And then the woofer, it's almost imperceptible, but it's just slightly angled. So again, you're cutting down on any of the interaction. And when you talk about outdoors, the part of the frequencies that you tend to lose almost immediately is that low frequency section. So the ability to just sort of aim it a little bit at the listening area ensures you're going to get it. But all those characteristics go into a nice wide dispersion. So when you are enjoying your music in your listening area, your whole area is nicely filled. Now, I can go on and on about all the cool technologies about their cones, their tweeters, and just all the things that are specific to performance. DALI is tops for that. But I think if you really want to do a good job in CI, you need to appeal, or the technology has to appeal, give features to the end user and installer.
Okay, you've mentioned installers several times during your last answer. I want to focus on the dog ear design of the E80. The company DALI put in a lot of R&D to develop the dog leg system on that speaker.
Yeah.
How quickly with that dog leg system can installers install that speaker?
Fair. You know what? I'm going to back that up just one step behind that, because if we're talking about the installation, for a lot of the installers, before it even goes in, you're going to get that pre-construction kit that should be in place. And, you put on a really good point, because it's all about the installer saving time, making sure that it's easy to install. And the pre-construction kit, for one, color-coded for the 5-inch, 6-inch range. So before the guy gets on the ladder, he looks up and he knows which speaker he needs. Then that ring has a variety of spots where the wing can attach. So you're making it easy for them. There's just it, if there's not a ton of drywall or studs to catch onto, you have a ton of areas as opposed to the traditional that just flanges up in 2 directions. On top of that, if the ceiling is open, they'll also give you a joist bracket, so you can just make sure they're perfectly aligned, something that snaps in at a 90-degree angle. And if you don't have that, but you still have to perfectly align, those wings will have micro adjustments to make sure you're aligned. Because I guarantee you that installer is going to have to go back if they're just a little off. Nothing an end user will hate more. But then when we get, so once that's all done and you get to the dogleg installation, it deploys solidly, quickly. Uh, but what I like about it, you don't have to um, deploy it in any great amount. Basically, the minute it goes out there, it'll start grabbing solidly. Whereas a lot of them, you really have to screw them in for a while before it'll grab. And why is that important? Because this allows you to make sure you're getting a firm grab on thin or thick mediums. Um, who knows what you're going into there? Could be a drop ceiling, very thin, but you want to make sure you grab it. Could be something that was really sound insulated because right above that listening area was the baby room. So you have double dry. So extremely, extremely rugged design, deploys very, very quickly, uh, about everything that an installer would want in a dog-leg operation.
Okay, now I want to again refer back to your previous answer, and you were talking about the sound qualities, the
Mhm.
dispersion of the E80. Tonally or timbre wise, how does the E80 complement the rest of the DALI product line to allow dealers to configure systems that are customized depending on the particular application?
Mm. I think it's vital that you always have some good timbre matching because, one room might have a variety of different applications and obstacles that an installer has to overcome. So DALI is an acronym, Danish Audiophile Loudspeaker Industries. That first D, Danish, sort of addresses a lot of your question. We're all familiar with the majority of the audio superpowers out there. You have the North American side, which is very punchy, a little warmer in the bass side, typical North American type of design. Um, and then we're really familiar with the typical European flavor. I don't want to necessarily say British, but they do a lot. There's some great French designers, but they all have a similar flavor that emphasizes a little bit more in the highs. DALI would probably be the Goldilocks of all of that. They would find it just right. They try to do this perfect balance of highs and lows, and it appeals to an extremely wide audience, and it's something that carries throughout their line. So whether you're going to the highest end S series or at the lower end of their series with the E series, you're always going to have similar flavors, so you can mix and match them as you.
Okay, my final question is going to be a long-winded one, so hopefully I don't lose you on this. I may even have to look at my questions to make sure I'm reading through this correctly.
All
How,
right, I've pitched. It's all good.
okay, hopefully I don't lose you. How has the development of Dali's flagship products like the Core and Epicor 11 influenced or impacted the design of the rest of the company's product line, including the E80 and other outdoor products like the E60WR or the E80WR? Both are in-ceiling designs and they're available. And earlier this year, you showed the Guardian all-weather speaker at ISE. Were the development of those benchmark DALI products impactful to this new era of DALI products?
I like that you use the word era, because I absolutely have to say yes. It is the era of core, and it really has impacted absolutely everything. Um, core started around 2022. For those of you online, this is our mega beast, the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the speaker world. Um, and that was developed in 2022. A true flagship in every sense of the word, but really a harbinger of things to come. And the beginning of the era of evolution of core, which just trickles down through every aspect of everything they've subsequently done. 2023 brought a street legal version with the Epicor 11 that you mentioned, which really possesses a remarkable amount of the technology being trickled down. 2024 is really the culmination of almost a 3 year plan of this evolution. So the era started with the evolution of everything coming down throughout the line, and part of that evolution is the evolution of technology. Um, what Core is bringing down, you do one of these flagships, sure, in the hopes of selling it, but really more than anything, of what you learn. And when you have the benefit of doing a flagship like that and throwing money at it for the R&D, you learn so much, and you learn how to bring that technology down through the line, whether it's to their traditional speakers or their CI speakers. And when you look at a lot of their CI speakers, you see a direct correlation throughout there. So it really has resonated throughout. It also has created an evolution of the brand position, completely cohesive portfolio from 500 bucks up to 120,000 bucks, and equally extensive in traditional and CI. So much interesting technology, and not just in the technology, but in the production, the controlling of the QC, and that has trickled down absolutely through the E8, the E60 WR versions, and the Guardian that will show Excedia. So many little details. I love an aspect that we learned in Core of actually not having ferrofluid in the tweeter. And a lot of people go, how can you possibly do that? It's a really interesting thing, because ferrofluid was originally created to cool the tweeter because it just moves so quickly and so on. But it's an oil-based material, and that creates resistance. So the tweeter has to work harder. So it gets harder, hotter. So you need the ferrofluid. So there was this vicious cycle going on that just came down to, if you can build everything from scratch the way that DALI does, you can avoid this. And then you have less resistance, which makes it a lot more efficient, and low loss technology. Comes back to the mantra. All that carried through to the E60 and E8, all that mantra, doing whatever you can to eliminate any kind of loss. And there are a variety of other technologies that they've learned, that they bring through all of them. But it's really doing everything you can yourself and sticking to that low loss mantra.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to speak to me about DALI and the E80 outdoor speaker. Where can people go to learn more about Lenbrook and DALI?
Lenbrook is the North American distributor for DALI, and proud owners of NAD and Blue Sound. You can go to their individual sites, and you'll get a little bit of information on DALI there. But for all the information on DALI, you'd want to go to dalispeakers.com. All the information there, all the new speakers that we've mentioned, other than Guardian, we'll get a little bit more information on that come Excedia time.
Jason, thank you for taking time out of your day. I look forward to seeing these new products and hopefully hearing them. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time. Always a pleasure.